The Great Deception. If you haven't watched this video, please take your time and watch the video so you understand. You don't take what I'm about to say out of context. The biggest deception done to the American people was the Federal Reserve Bank. You're not going to understand unless you watch the previous video that I did. However, I want you to understand this. Since the Federal Reserve Bank was created by the Rothschilds in 1913, it was more than the Rothschilds, JP Morgan, as many others, but watch the video. Our dollar today would have been worth over $30, over $31 with, taking into account the buying power. Now, I put something up. It's best certain things that I do not say because obviously the videos could be censored. I've been censored from Facebook and many other platforms. Now, you may say, like some people have reached out to me, George, but I hear what you're saying, but what you're putting this out there, oh, it may be bad for your business. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But unfortunately, that's the problem. Many people feel that way, so they don't speak up. And one thing I could tell you, evil persists because of good men that do nothing and remain silent. So many people, it's like selling their soul to the devil. They're making money. They don't want to lose up on that, and they remain quiet. And that's exactly what happened with the Federal Reserve. They knew what they were doing was unconstitutional. It was implemented by our founding fathers because of what had happened in the past with the Rothschilds, for example, not just for example, in Germany, not just in World War I or in World War II, but also in the war with France and Britain. And if you look up Napoleon in Waterloo, you understand what happened. And I already addressed that if you watched the video before. So I want you to understand again. I'm going to say it one more time. If we didn't have the Federal Reserve Bank, our dollar would be worth over 30 something dollars today. So it hasn't helped us. They have robbed us of our wealth. And if you understand this, we have implemented this throughout the world, or mostly Latin America and many other countries. Okay, this is why we are in the way we are. And this is the quote that I put up there. I want you to see it. Now, I was going over some stuff and I was kind of like dumbfounded because I was like, what the hell? I checked out as of today, February 7, 2005, and we have given to Israel $327.9 billion, guys. 327 billion. And I want you to understand something, because if you don't understand mathematics, we think that we could just print money. No, that is incorrect. We owe, the national debt we owe is to these families. Okay, 12 families here in America that are working together. It's a banking cartel. It's a cabal, and they pretty much run the Western world. They run and own and operate the media. So you don't get to hear this. You have people fighting among each other, like the Democrats and the Republicans. They want you to remain distracted. They don't want you to be aware of the truth, because obviously then they lose control. So they'll use the media, they'll distract you. You have the Republicans use about maybe birth control, abortion, and then the other one about rights, gay rights and all that, and they'll turn it around and obviously to get you to fight each other, because as long as you're fighting, you're not paying attention to what's actually going on. And what's actually going on is, as I stated, your wealth has been robbed. Okay, and it's going to continue to get worse until you end up homeless, as a quote that I stated in the beginning. This is a fact, guys. It's mathematics. Look at the years. Okay, it's getting worse. And unless you stand up and abolish the Federal Reserve Bank, abolish IRS, it was unconstitutional until they passed the 16th Amendment, when our founding fathers made it so, because they saw again what happened back in Waterloo, as well as in Germany, before Germany, obviously, and it was 1913. But if you think I'm lying or you doubt me, research Jekyll's Island in Georgia, back when they created this plan in 1910. Okay, and they actually implemented the plan in 1913 when they created the Federal Reserve Bank and the IRS. Also, I want you to see what is bank run, because the bank run started in 1907 and it was implemented, or it became to a fact, because of JP Morgan. He has something to do with that. They had it all planned. All right. Now, if you don't understand how it works, I wanted to speak to you about fractional lending. Now, rather than speak about it, I want you to see up here. I'm going to put it up or put it somewhere so you can see it, fractional lending. But just to give you a quick idea, Our system is a Ponzi scheme. For example, if you come right now, you deposit $1,000 in the bank keeps 10%, that's $100, and the remaining $100, they lend it out, right? And then the second person grabs that $900, deposit in the bank, and the bank again on the second bank keeps 10%, which is $90, and they lend out $810. Okay, the bank keeps 81, right? And then 729 is lent out, and this continue. So they're lending out on the fact that they expect you to come back with that money. And that doesn't just apply to this, it also applies for a mortgage, for example. So if you, for example, took out a mortgage of 400,000, I want you to think about that. 400,000, they get about 4 million using the same scenario. So they're robbing people's wealth, and that's what creates this inflation, especially when they start printing money that has no value. Keep in mind, when the whole Europe and most of the world pegged their currency to our dollar was measurable. How measurable? It was measurable, for example, like $36 an ounce of gold. So you had a dollar, you had gold, right? It was measurable. And then they took it off the gold standard, right? The Bretton Woods system, and it became what is called fiat currency, which is fiat credit. Okay, so that allowed them to create hyperinflation. That allows them to print money, and that money that we are actually giving out to other nations, like for example, like I just mentioned, Israel. Okay, you're paying for that. You're paying for that, and this is why you have hyperinflations or even regular inflation, where you can't even afford the food. Where over 10 million Americans just last year, in the past term, left America to go elsewhere for better living. Many Americans know, those that were on TikTok, that when they were alleging that it was Chinese using their database, and they were concerned, what they did, right? They basically try to block it. Who and why? They didn't want you to know the truth, but then the American people rebelled, especially the young people, and they went to Red Note, right, which is an actual Chinese app. But then they found out, wow, I got no property taxes here. I got I got health insurance. I got better income. I have better rights. The zoos and everything are free. And we saw that America is not as great as they pretend to be. We look more like a third world country. When they saw how in Shanghai, how beautiful it looks, maybe you should go on Red Note and see it for yourself. They saw, wow, we've been lied to. But I've been knowing that for decades. And this is why I'm addressing this, because I want you to understand. And if you're not understanding, I want you to watch the famous video right now from George Carlin and what he said. People laugh, but it was not a joke. He was trying to wake up the American people. Okay?
It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have.
If you want to know what's going on right now, guys, this people want to complain about different parties and all that. When the people are in charge, is the one that creating this. The parties, after they all done, they give themselves a handshake. How you doing? They're being the puppet. They're being controlled. The real ones you got to go after are, okay, are the families, the cartel that are robbing you. That's why we need to take down the Federal Reserve Bank and the IRS. We need to abolish it, guys. Okay? If you wonder, think about this. Our congressmen that you elected, they're not representing you, the people, or we, the people. They're not representing us. Who are they representing? Israel, a Zionist, genocidal regime committing war crimes. And we're sending billions of dollars of our hard-earned money, billions of dollars, to what? To commit suicide, to kill these babies? Think about it, guys. We have become morally bankrupt. Okay? So what we have to do, all these congressmen and senators that support a genocidal regimes such as Israel, we need to take them out of power. Moreover, we need term limits. Think about it. We need term limits so it's less time for them to be able to bribe or get bribe or use terms that they shouldn't be doing. I wish I could articulate better, guys. I'm a better writer than I am obviously a speaker. But the fact of the matter is, I'm giving you a lot of information to look for it because it's a fact. And if we don't rectify this matter, we have less than 10 years before our empire goes down. Just like what happened with France, just like what happened with Rome and these days. We're not going to. In day and age, we have so much information that you could research, whether it's Google, and don't try to lie to you at first. You got to go down further. But we have Chat GPT. We have many resources that you could actually get actual information and learn from it, from biased, unbiased systems, so you could learn. Now, look at this right now. Look at this paper I'm putting up here. You can see the gross domestic product. For those that don't understand what the gross domestic product is, what we build, the services that we provide, the fruits that we sow, things like that, right? Our products, right? Well, what we sell, we have approximately in a year 25.85 trillion. But look at the national debt. Okay, we have about 330 million Americans. Out of 330 million Americans, we have tax-paying citizens, right? Because you got to take account into kids that are not working yet or children's. We have 150 million American paying federal taxes. Now look at the debt to GDP ratio. We are at 140%. This is unsustainable, guys. Once we get close to 200, our nation will collapse. Our empire will collapse. And it's worse than what you think, because our total foreign owned debt, right? Other countries' own debt is 7.9 trillion in United States Treasury security, which is roughly 22.9% of the total United States debt. Major foreign holders that buy treasury bonds, right, buy our debt is Japan, approximately 1.1 trillion, China, approximately 749 billion, and United Kingdom, approximately 690 billion. Now, why is this a problem? Because there are more countries that buy our debt, but because they have woken up, they are what is called de-dollarization. They are returning the treasury bonds. They don't want to deal with America no more. They don't want a unipolar society. They want a multipolar where they're not going to be getting sanctions and being harassed or threatened. And basically, we're losing America, or the people that run our nation are losing power, and they don't like that. And they will get us into World War III. They have to, because they want to remain in power and control. And like I said, we have less than 10 years at the rate that we are going. As you know, there are BRICS, Britain, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and there are many nations that have joined them. But just to give you an idea, the combined GDP for BRICS is 25.85 trillion, slightly more of that than the United States. That's a problem for us, guys, because these are powerful nations. It's not easy that we could go like we did in Iraq, where we basically use the excuse of weapons of mass destruction and kill over 1.5 million people, right? And we took their wealth and grabbed their oil. The same thing like in Syria, for example. But if you look at the global economic influence by BRICS, it's 35% of the world's GDP. In terms of purchasing power parity compared to the G7, that's United States and the Europeans, which is 30%. Okay, so we are in our way to collapse, which is maybe why we have this guy, Donald Trump's helper, I forgot his name right now, that people are complaining that is finding out all the money that we are throwing away. And I assure you that all these money that we are alleging are sending to different countries and all that. I heard one that was for condoms, millions of dollars, and obviously these are false companies that are grabbing that money. Okay, you got to ask yourself, these congressmen, right? They have AIPAC. This is why all these senators, we need to not vote for them or vote them out, because think about it. They're not looking out for our best interests. Again, we're sending billions and we're sending weapons and we're killing innocent people. You think that is right? The world has woken up. So we need to vote them out. And if you wonder, you think, oh, they're not getting paid or they're not getting bribed. Really? AIPAC is one of the biggest lobbyists, and they have committed crimes, as I showed you in the video before, which is why you should see it, so you understand where I'm coming from. But the fact of the matter is this, guys. Think about how much does a senator gets paid? $200,000 a year? How they become millionaires? Right? Inside trading? What's going on? All right? How can you vote for somebody that is morally corrupted and is killing innocent people? So you think that if they could do that, you think they give a damn about you? You think you matter? Right? You're killing babies. Think about it. I belong to the human race. We belong to the human race. Everyone matters. So you think that is that hard for them, if they could easily kill them, that they give a damn about you? I know as a Puerto Rican, there's a lot of stuff that has been done to our island. And there's a lot of stuff that's been done to you that maybe you need to look up to, including Operations Northwoods and how 9/11 and stuff that happened. And this is not a conspiracy, because the facts are what happened. And I'll speak another video on that, because you got to look and know who profited from that. right? Media was saying, BBC was saying World Trade Center went down 26 minutes before it actually did. Yeah, it didn't get hit by a plane. Most of you just know about the Twin Tower, right? What happened with the gold at the World Trade Center that disappeared? What happened with that? I mean, if the fires wouldn't melt it, shouldn't it be melted somewhere? There's a lot of guys that you don't know. Who benefit? Who took out insurance 6 weeks prior for the terrorism insurance before the World Trade Center went down? Who benefit from that in the insurance? Larry Silverstein? Look up this information, guys. What about the 5 dancing Israelis that were arrested and the FBI kept them for a couple of weeks until they were told to release them? And they were Mossad agents. They were caught dancing on top of a van, and many people reported it, and they were in a white van, and they caught them crossing the bridge back in New York or New Jersey, and they were arrested and detained. These are facts, but you never heard that, right? Right? Look it up, guys. Now, in order to continue, I want you to understand this, guys. The only way we're going to get things better, number one, is getting rid of the Federal Reserve Bank, the IRS, and what else? Term limits, and stop dual citizenship within our government. No one should be representing our nation who has master somewhere else, because when you have two masters, you may love one and hate the other, right? No, we need total loyalty to our nation. And I tell you guys, this has happened before in many nations. Rome, this is why they got a lot of these people out on usurpation, and it's the mentality, and they keep continuing doing this throughout the world, guys. Okay? We need to stop this. And I already mentioned how the Bible mentions that they hide under a religion, and they're forced. They're forced. They don't even believe in God, right? Thus, Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. Read it again. It's getting worse, guys. And unless you stop this, you're going to see we're going to end up being indentured servant. We already are indentured servant, don't get me wrong. But it's going to be to a point, as you can see, that we won't be able to feed our family. They don't give a damn about you. Just like they don't give a damn about Gaza. They don't give about Ukraine. They don't give a damn about you. Now, I want you to understand something, and I think I'll end this with here. I wish I was a better communicator. I have a lot of information. Like I told you, the dollar's a Ponzi scheme. Research all this, multiplying effect of the dollar, fractional lending. We're lending countries money that we don't have because it's not backed by nothing. And we drag them into poverty, especially these Latin countries. Then we get mad when they come over here and cross the border. When we stole their gold, oil. And if you already saw the other video, you see what I'm saying. But think about this. And I know everybody wants to, capitalist system. Oh, great capitalist system. Of course, they created this capitalist system. Okay? And I'm not saying don't start putting words in my mouth about socialism and all that. I just think that there's a disparity from people that are making billionaires, CEO making billions, while you're eating off the crumbs that fall off your master's table, right? You can hardly survive. We have a system that doesn't work. Listen to this logic right here. We all heard, I took economics when I was younger, but think about this, right? What is capitalism, right? The most thing that stand out to me, the capitalism was supply and demand, right? And what was the other thing? It's called the invisible hand. What was the invisible hand? Greed, right? We have 1,000 companies competing among each other, right? They'll lower the price, right? They'll lower the expenditures until what happens? Until that so they could sell more until that company goes out of business. But when you have that's fair trading. But what happens when you have a government that gives that company incentives as they're doing? Now it's not fair competition, right? And then what happens? This company goes out of business. So now you have less company, and sometimes you have hostile takeover, right? They'll invest in their shares, and when they have over 51% or over 50%, now they could take control, right, of the board of directors. Yes or no? Okay. And then next thing you know, think about this. Now you have two companies. Okay. Now you already are increasing your prices on the products, right? You're cutting down on your expenditures. You have an obligation to your shareholders every time to give them more. Otherwise, they're not going to invest in your company. So look at the system. What you have to do, you have no other choice. Lower your expenditures or increase your prices on your product. So that creates inflation, right? But what they usually do, both. And one of the biggest expenditures of any company is what? The employee's income. So here they are making profits, $1 billion profits, and the CEO is making $1 billion while the indentured servants are getting chump change. right? They keep lowering the price. And you may think again, oh, wait a minute, I just got a minimum wage increase, but is it keeping up with inflation? I go back to this again. Fact. The dollar is worth today would have been worth over $31 today. It lost over 96% of its buying power. As of today, we're close to 97. I already told the amount of debt we have that is unsustainable. We're going to collapse. They have this plan. This is why they're trying to rack up, pull out, because they know we're competing with BRICS, and they rather go out fighting, all right, or introduce another system where it'll be electronically, right? Where now we cannot even buy or sell, or if anything you say, they could usually turn you off, right? I got blocked. I had 5 business pages that have been blocked. I had a page that was called Freedom Page because I didn't want to mix my personal business, right, with these things that I'm speaking now. But I feel that it's my obligation to bring the truth or wake you up, because it starts with a spark. It's always one person that makes a difference, just like Rosa Parks, right? Just like Martin Luther King, just like Bob Marley, just like Abraham Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, right? Even Thomas Jefferson. All these people were Aquarius just like me. But it starts with one person. And I hope I could be that one person to lighten your soul where you could research, because they have to even use religion. And I'm not going to even get to that. Many of you are blind, are blindsided. They use religion. They'll make you believe I grew up in church. They'll use religion to make you believe that those are the chosen one, right? And again, this has nothing to do. There's a lot of people that are woken up. It's a small sect controlling that area that are not them. They are not the descendants from Abraham. But yet you, based on your programming and beliefs, you support a genocidal regime. When you think about it, there's going to be, in the end days, if you do believe in Christianity, there's going to be a day where it's going to be a fight against good and evil. You think we aren't really on the good side? Killing, raping. Look around you, wake up. There's a lot going on. I don't want to get too deep because I don't want to be blocked. But I think I'm giving you a lot of information. I'm putting the pages so you can read it yourself, so I won't get blocked and you could do your own research. Guys, there's no excuse. We have ChatGPT today. We have a lot of resources. We have YouTube. Educate yourself. Educate yourself, because if not, like that quote that I put up stated, we're going to find ourselves homeless. Our kids will find ourselves homeless in the country that our fathers conquered. That's all I have, guys. Please, I want to know that you're listening. Please like, comment, and share. And comment. Let's talk. I challenge any Christian in your beliefs, because I know a lot more than what I convey here. But I have to be careful, because if not, you will shut me down right away. But I know facts that if you actually read the scriptures, it is right there. We've been fooled. We've been manipulated and programmed. And they took the attention away from them. And they took over our country. And this is what's happening. It is obvious, guys. If you haven't woken up, if you haven't seen we're sending billions to a genocidal regime, then you are actually beyond sleep. There was a saying, I remember the scripture that said, is the worst blind is that one that has eyes but cannot see, right? That has ears but doesn't listen. Guys, please like, comment, and share. That's all I have for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.